Hi everyone, this is Prashad Parthiban. Today I am going to take a quick training on farm insurance. So farm insurance is nothing but it covers any loss exposures related to farm. That's what you see the definition here. It covers losses and liabilities related to farming activity. For example, if you are a company or a owner, you have a land or farming land where you grow crops or you grow animals and etc. You need to make sure you have required insurance coverage to protect yourself as a owner. Like you could have a dwelling where you stay and then you conduct farming activities. So you may need insurance for both your personal care, which is dwelling, plus farming related activities, right? So today what we will do is we will see a list of coverages that will help you to have required coverage if something happens to yourself and your farm activities. To start with, we have set of property coverages, we have set of liability coverages. Again, I am not listing everything, these are most common, there could be more than this. But this will be a good starting point to understand what is farm insurance and what are the most common coverages that can be applied to the farm exposures. To start with property coverages A to D is more or less like a homeowner's insurance, right? Coverage A is dwelling, your actual home that you have within your farm, right? You need coverage for that because you are staying there and you are conducting farming business. And then appurtenant structures is nothing but structures that are associated with your home. It could not be directly attached to your home, but it could be a garage or something that is detached, but still it's part of your home. So that is covered under appurtenant structures. Third one is household personal property. So very important to know that this personal property should not be used for farming purpose. These properties are related to your personal use, maybe a TV that you watch in your home, etc. can be covered under household personal property. Coverage D, loss of use, right? For some loss or fire or something, your home cannot be used. You need to go to a rental place for a couple of weeks. Then you can use loss of use. So until this point, it's all personal use, right? Now you all know that you are also conducting farming activities within that place. So those next two coverages are related to, next three I would say is related to farming, right? The coverage is scheduled farm personal property. So scheduled is nothing but you list each and every personal property. Say you use a tractor for your farming activity, right? You have animal stocks, you have animals that helps you for the farming activity like cow that gives milk, or you have some equipments that you use for your farming activities. You can list it explicitly and then say what is the value of those scheduled properties so that if there is a loss, it will be covered. The next one is unscheduled. This is any common personal properties that you use for farming activities. It could be any device or anything that is not unique. You can say the overall personal property that I have is maybe 100K, right? It will be covered. So scheduled properties, you are listing each and every property. Unscheduled is like in general all the personal properties that you use for farming purpose, which is very important here. Coverage D, bonds, scheduled and blanket. Most of you know, if you see the farms, there will be big bonds like which is high building. People generally use that for storing their animals or some of their major farm activities, which has unique exposure. So you need to have this coverage to cover your bonds, which are like bigger in size. Again, there can be scheduled or blanket because scheduled is you have to schedule each and every bond. Like if you have 5 bonds, you have to schedule it. Whereas blank, for example, and then you can say for scheduled, for bond 1, the total limit is maybe $8,000. For the bond 2, it's $10,000. That's a maximum. Whereas if you say blanket, overall you can say for all the 5 bonds, the overall limit is $50,000. So the maximum they will cover is 50. So it's like a combined limit. Blanket, when I say blanket, scheduled is each limit will be unique to each bond. So these are some of the property coverages that you can use for your farm insurance or farm exposures. Coming to liability, right? Property is where you cover yourself, whereas the liability is you cover third party due to your negligence. To start with bodily injury and property damage, which is coverage H. Say example, if somebody comes to your farm, like nowadays most of us go to farms and apple picking, etc. If something happens to the end customers, you are liable for them. In that case, you can use bodily injury or property damage. Say due to your farming activity, if you have injured somebody or if some other property of your neighbors, you can use this one. Personal and advertising injury, right? Like say more of libel or slander or advertising, right? You do advertising to your farm to attract customers, like maybe you are doing apple picking and you are doing something, but you may have copied some of the advertising techniques from your competitor. Then they can file a claim on yourself. So in those cases, you can use personal and advertising injury to cover yourself. Medical payments, it's a very minimal amount. Say if somebody slip and fall in your farm, you can access this amount immediately without determining who's at fault. Pollution coverage, right? You have bonds, you have a lot of things in your farm. Due to your activity, if pollution is created in your environment, then you can use pollution coverage. Again, pollution can damage somebody else or somebody else's property. So then this will help you. In short, as I told you, farm insurance is going to help you to cover your farm exposures. If you see closely, I have not covered crop exposures because any exposure related to your own crop can be covered by crop insurance. This is strictly farm insurance where you are covering your dwelling and any personal property that you use for your farming activity plus any liability exposures. Once again, thank you for your continuous support. Have a great day. Bye-bye.